Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in for tea after dinner with Lady DJ. Welcome in. Welcome in. And I'm almost on time. Welcome in. Welcome in. As you are coming in, please don't forget to get your daily heart maze and share it out, please. My objective is always to get at least 10,000 likes. So as you're coming in, would you also tap the screen? On this platform, I do not have the moderators to block. It is understood that this is adult conversation. And with that being said, we know how to conduct ourselves accordingly. So we're mindful of what we put in the chat. And so if anything gets out of hand, the moderators here know to mute you. I don't want you to leave because there might be something that is said that would be efficacious towards you, for you, giving you permission to think differently. Is my music too loud for you? While you all are sharing it out, I too am going to share it out. So if you would just hold, I'll be right back. But I'm going to share this out, okay? That didn't take long. At the bottom of your screen is a little arrow that goes like this. And when you go to that arrow, it takes you to, you can either individually share it out or you can share it out to your stories, which is much faster. And now I know. I hate it when Becky starts to get the picture. Me. If my music's not too loud, gonna give it just a few minutes for everyone to come in, please. And in advance, I thank you for any gifts that are given. Thank you. In advance, I thank you for any gifts that are given. I don't want to keep you too long. Did you bring your tea? Did you bring your tea? Because I have my tea. It is a double spice chai. Can you smell it? It smells wonderful. It has cloves and cinnamon, ginger, and it is so tasty. Double spice chai. And of course, chai is a black tea. So let me get started. Let me do this. Let me shut my music down. How about that? And then we can get started. The subject matter is waiting well. Waiting well. You know how to wait well. This morning, it's the art of waiting well. I'm sorry. The art of waiting well. The art of waiting well. And this morning at lunch, we talked about, just to give you a brief overview, the lunchtime video is already up on Facebook, Threads, IG, as well as my YouTube. My YouTube is as here, Tea with Lady DJ. But this morning, we talked about we pray for patience, how we ask and wish we had more of, and we don't. For whatever reason, we don't. But to establish right here from the beginning is that patience is not simply the ability to wait. It is the ability to keep a good attitude while you are waiting. Anyone can wait, but not everyone can wait well. That's not everyone. And we talked about patience shows up in two ways. Patience shows up in two ways. The first is forbearance, the ability to restrain yourself, to not give way to anger, even when you have a reason to. And the second one is endurance, the ability to keep going, to keep showing up, not to quit in the middle of the process. And we talked about at lunchtime that both of these, forbearance and endurance, they are not a passive position. They're not passive. Patience is not sitting back and doing nothing. Patience is an active choice to make over and over and over again. But the part that we don't say out loud is patience. It is usually the people who matter the most to us that we cannot seem to find patience for. The stranger on the street gets our best behavior. The people we love get what's left over. And that's what we need to change. That is what we need to change. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. And thank you for joining me again this evening for the rest of the story. Impatience communicates something. When we are consistently impatient with someone, it sends a message. I do not value you enough to slow down for you. Now, this may not be what you say, and it may not even be what you mean, but that is what the other person hears. That is what the other person hears. Stress levels. Our stress levels, when they increase, our patience decreases. The things we use to move past quickly become sticking points. And if we are not careful, impatience becomes the tone of the relationship. It weakens the sense of safety. It weakens the sense of safety. It chips away at the connection. And this, at lunchtime, I used this scripture, Ecclesiastes 7:9. Ecclesiastes 7:9. And it says, do not be quick in spirit to be angry. Anger lodges in the bosom of fools. Do not be quick in spirit to be angry. Anger lodges in the bosom of fools. Now hold on to that one. Ecclesiastes 7:9. Anger that is not checked does not just hurt the other person. It settles in you. It makes a home in you. And that is no place for it to live. and that's no place for it to live. And we ended this morning on good relationships. Good relationships do not just happen. They are built. They are tended, nurtured, and patience is not an option. It is a process, and it is essential. And that gets us to tonight. So if you didn't get to see this at lunchtime, as I said, this video is already up on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, subscribe it. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe and turn your notifications on so that you'll be made abreast of when they have been posted. So tonight, for tea after dinner, we're going to talk about growing in love. Growing in love. And you say, what does that have to do with patience? Well, stick with me. Okay. Falling in love. Fall in love or grow in love. Which one do you all say? Would you rather fall in love or would you rather grow in love? Just put it in the chat. I'm going to take a sip of my tea while you put it in the chat. Would you rather grow in love or would you rather fall in love? I'm waiting. Tell me what you think. Would you rather fall in love or would you rather grow in love? Put it in the chat for me. Girl, that's a good answer. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Someone had posed the question, this question, that has stayed with me. Do you want to fall in love or do you want to grow in love? Falling is passive. Falling is passive. Falling happens to you. Falling happens to you. But growing requires intention. Growing requires time. Growing requires what? Patience. Yeah, it requires patience. Thank you all for the gifts. Thank you all so very much for the gifts. Thank you. And if you continue to tap the screen for me, please, I would appreciate it. Do a power tap. How about that? Do a power tap for me. Yeah, do a power tap for me. Growing requires patience. You can't put a seed in the ground tonight and expect a tree tomorrow. It requires, well, like I said up at the top, nurturing, tending. It requires patience. And when there is no patience, it is impossible to devote the necessary time to grow your connection with someone. When there is no patience, it is impossible, absolutely impossible, to devote the necessary time to grow your connection with someone. We want microwave results. That's what we want. We want microwave results. We put it in today and we got a full-fledged whatever going on. But you cannot rush growth. You cannot skip the process and arrive at the destination. You cannot. James 1:19 says, be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to take offense, and to get angry. Slow. it says, be slow. Be quick to hear. And in order for us to hear, we have to be quiet. So I can't be jabbering and you're jabbering. We are missing something. Welcome in, Tony. Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone that was here. Grateful. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's so good to have all of you. Welcome in. So, as I said, James 1:19 says, be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to take offense, slow to take offense, and to get angry. Slow. That right there is the blueprint for patience in a relationship. See, I like to think that everything that we are going through now, God has already given us a blueprint. And we just have to study. We have to spend time with Him to help Him to direct our paths, right? So, He's already put it right there. It's in plain sight. It doesn't say fly off the handle. It doesn't say put your hands on your hip and get your neck moving. It doesn't say to invade each other's space, because inevitably that person feels like something is about to ensue that shouldn't ensue. So, listen first. Listen, intentionally listen. And if you don't hear it all, then your statement should be, am I to understand? Yada, 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 yada. And that way, welcome in, Tina, welcome in. And that way, when you say, am I to understand? Because this is what I thought I heard. It gives the other person room to say, no, that's not what I meant, and explain what they meant. Because sometimes we get so angry, we can't hear. And then secondly, we speak and always, always react last. So, we're going to listen first, we're going to speak second, and react last. 3 practical things. The first is, as I said, listening. Impatient people are poor listeners. Impatient people are poor listeners, not because they do not care, but because they are so eager for their turn to speak that they stop truly hearing. And so that impatient person is so anxious to speak. They feel like if I speak louder and I talk over you, you have to listen to me and I must be right. Well, that's not true. Galathea, welcome in. Welcome in, sweetie. So, they are anxious to speak, that they stop truly hearing. Active listening means you can reflect back what was said. It means the other person feels heard, not just tolerated. They feel heard and not just tolerated. Do you know how, have you ever, there was something that my ex used to do, and he would say to me, I know what your little bitty mind is thinking. How degrading. And that hurt. Even though I didn't say anything, it hurt. He didn't want to hear what I was thinking. He had already surmised what it was that I was thinking. He never gave me that room to say, this is what, this is how. It was as if I didn't have feelings. And that, you remember that. So recently, a friend of mine, and I love him dearly, but he said that to me. I didn't hear me say something. He said yes. It made me feel like you really wasn't paying attention to what I said. But because we are friends, and because we do listen to each other, I was able to say to him, that's not what I said. And we realized that there was a delay in our phone conversation back and forth. So it gave him the impression that I said something that I hadn't. And I said, that bothers me so bad when I know that I didn't say it. But because we were adults and we were able to listen to one another, it was rectified. And all was well, and we went on like friends should. The second thing is carving out time. Carving out time. Put the electronics down. Slow everything down. Remember what I was talking about earlier? When you're not listening, it says something that I don't value your time. Put electronics down. Slow everything down. Walk slow. Enjoy a good meal together. Do you all know how to slow dance? Slow dance. Be in each other's arms. Yeah. Discover each other again. There is no patience without presence. There is no patience without presence. The third thing is communicating. Communicating. When you are running low, it's been one hell of a day, and you are running low. Merlin, welcome in. Welcome in. And thank you for joining us. Kathy, welcome in. When you feel your patience thinning, when you feel your patience thinning, say so. But as you've always heard me say, remember the tone, the tenor, and the depth of what it is that you're saying. So when you're feeling your patience is running low or thinning, not as an attack, as an honest moment, I am not in a good space right now. You feel that? I am not in a good space right now. You have to appreciate what I'm saying. You can't force me into a conversation or anything else. Then that says you don't value me. I have just said to you, I'm not in a good space right now. My patience are thin. It has nothing to do with you. It's just been one hell of a day. I just need a little quiet time. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. So, when that is said to you, seize the opportunity to just be quiet. Allow that person to cuddle next to you snuggle next to you, or just lie on the couch with their head in your lap in quietness until they are ready. And sometimes we have to put ours on hold when it is coming to us like this. Give it a rest. Just sit in each other's company. Have a cup of tea. Have a glass of wine. Put on some soft music like I had playing earlier. That is to bring the temperature down. Bring the temperature down. So a reminder is solid relationships are built on solid individuals. Solid relationships are built on solid individuals. To bring the best version of yourself into a relationship, you sometimes, most of the time, have to work on you first. Have to work on you first. Hey, Sassy, welcome in. Welcome in. You have to work on you first. Patience shows your loved ones that you value them. You value them enough to see beyond their faults. That you love them enough to see beyond their faults. That you appreciate what they bring even when it's hard. So that brings us to the next scripture, which is Romans 8:25. Romans 8:25. It says, if we hope for what we do not see, we wait eagerly for what it with patience and composure. So we wait with patience and composure together. Not, I'm going to give you patience whenever and composure whenever. No, they work hand in hand. Patience and composure. That's what it takes. Not just gritting your teeth through the wait. It's not. Paula, thank you. Thank you so much. It's not just gritting your teeth through the wait, but waiting with peace. Waiting with peace. With hope. With the settled assurance that what you are building is worth the time it takes. It's worth the time it takes. So, what am I saying? Let's put all of this all together. Marvin, welcome in. Welcome in. So, set realistic expectations. Set realistic expectations of yourself and of the people you love. No one is perfect. No one shows up perfectly every single day, and neither do you. No one. No one. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Thank you. Thank you all for the gifts. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Talk about patience in your relationship. Talk about it. Make it a conversation, not an assumption. And remember, God has perfect timing. Not early, not late. And what He is building in you and through you and between you and the people you love is worth the wait. Now, I always end in OAR, ownership, accountability and responsibility. Ownership says, I own where my patience has fallen short and what it has cost the people I love. I own it because the lack of patience, stress, and everything, and because you didn't govern this pink thing behind your teeth, you say things and you cannot unring a bell. You cannot unring a bell. So I own where my patience has fallen short and what it has cost the people I love. So I no longer feel safe to say, I'm running low on fuel. I need some quiet time. Because every time I do, it doesn't sit well with you. And you want what you want when you want it. And I don't have it to give. So the next time, I just won't talk at all. And I shut down. I go into my safe place where I can just watch your lips moving, but I'm not hearing a word that you're saying. Accountability says, I will not blame my stress or my circumstances for how I treat the people who matter the most. I will not blame my stress or my circumstances for how I treat the people who matter the most. You can talk to everybody out there in the street and you can find your words and your behavior, but when you get to me, you don't have it. I'm worth less than the people in the street. I'm not worthy of the good words that you use when you're in your office. And yes, somebody has pushed you and has pissed you off to the highest festivity. But you find your words. You find patience. But me, you don't. Responsibility. It says, I'm responsible for doing the work to become a more patient person. I am responsible for doing the work to become a more patient person. Remember this morning, I said it can be learned, it can be grown, but it is always, always worth the wait. It is always. Patience is not a luxury. It is a necessity. And the good news is, as I said, it can be learned, it can be grown, and it is always worth the wait. And I did it. If you have any questions, I made it within. I try not to keep you all too long because I want you to not get overloaded. You know, like a sponge, you can put so much water in it, and then it starts to leak out.